Game 4 at home, the Phoenix Suns did what they were supposed to do. They won. They tied the series. It is now 2-2. Just 5 days ago, it was a much different mood as the Suns returned home, battered and bruised after going down 0-2 at the hands of the Denver Nuggets. It was an offensive juggernaut team in the first game. It was a team that beat us, that only allowed 87 points in game 2. But Matthew, as you've said all along, it's a 7-game series. Phoenix did what they were supposed to do, and now it's tied, baby.
I never worried. I
I
always thought Shamet was going to come along and hit those big fuck you threes. That's what he did. And that's why we won tonight. And I never gave up on Ayton either. I never said to start Jock over Deandre Ayton, right? But I did say Suns in 7. So
welcome to the Suns Jam Session restaurant. You'll be dining right here. Tonight we are serving crow. And we hope you enjoy eating it for anything and anybody who said anything anti-Deandre Ayton or Landry Shamet today. And you know what? This is what you need. Performances like we saw from Deandre Ayton, from Landry Shamet tonight. It's what I said in our preview. We need to have some production from the bench. We need to have TJ Warren hit big shots and big free throws coming down the stretch. We need to have guys other than Devin Booker and Kevin Durant give us some offense. And we saw that tonight finally. I said it on our Twitter space. At halftime. Again, if you don't follow us on Twitter, at Suns Jam, that's the place to be at halftime during Suns games because Matthew and I are breaking down what we see in the first half. But it's something I said. The bench plays the best at home. You have to seize that opportunity. Being up by 2 at halftime, ultimately winning this game by 5. The Phoenix Suns did just that.
Yeah, and Mike Adamo, you never thought that, Lizzie. Of course, I'm joking, man. All right. We're all eating crow here. Of course. You want these guys to come through, and they did big time for the Suns. It's a team game, man. They play in the NBA. They're going to make some shots, and they made some shots tonight for sure. Is that how you eat it? Is it still alive? I would rather have mine just dead.
Ozzy, you just bite off the bloody head.
Bite off the head?
Eat that fucking crow.
That was a bat, though. That was a bat.
Yeah, but
I'd rather eat a bat than a crow, for sure.
I'd rather eat a crow than a bat.
All right, well.
Yeah. Well, those are some of the questions that we're going to answer right here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. So we appreciate anybody and everybody who's tuning in to watch us live after the Phoenix Suns win Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals, send this series back to Denver, tied 2-2. So make sure that while you're hanging out with us, you do us a couple favors if you want to. Purely if you want to. If you're watching, hit the thumbs up button. If you're listening, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And if you have DraftKings, go ahead and sign up with promo code SUNSJAM. If you're a new user, you can receive an incredible offer. If you deposit just $5 and place a wager on any sport, you'll instantly get a $150 bonus bet added to your account. And again, using code SUNSJAM truly helps out us, the podcasters, the ones who go live after every game. I know you might be hesitant to try your hand at sports betting, but let me tell you, this is the perfect opportunity to give it a shot. So again, use a promo code SUNSJAM. Remember, this is only available for new customers who are over 21 and physically present in Arizona. And please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. So what are you waiting for? Head to DraftKings.com and take advantage of this incredible opportunity today. Support the pod. That's what we're asking for. So, Matthew, we know that when we win, we chug with the fellas.
Oh, what is this?
Is that wine?
What kind
of wine is it?
Someone out there can definitely answer that.
You
but it wouldn't be me.
Simpleton.
If you're out there, comment, please. I'm sure you're watching.
It's a red wine, but what kind of red wine? Is it a Cabernet? Is it a red blend? Is it a Merlot? Is it a Pinot Noir?
This morning.
Oh, it's the blood of Christ.
Yes.
Okay, well, chugging with the fellas, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't say that, God, okay?
Best audio.
I know. Just us gulping.
Us gulping. You're driving to work tomorrow. The kids are in the back seat. Mom, Dad, what's going on? Chugging with the fellas, baby. Chugging with the fellas.
This is my favorite part.
I want to hear the gulps. Let's start the pod. 129 to 124. The Phoenix Suns defeat the Denver Nuggets in game number 4. Like I said, we're headed back to Denver. It's going to be a game 5, a pivotal game 5 come Tuesday. But we got plenty to talk about in this game, and an eventful affair it was, which, of course, brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. There was a lot of things that happened in this game. A lot of weird twists and turns and plot twists. One of them being Nikola Jokic going into the crowd and trying to grab the ball out of a Suns fan's hands. And when he did, and the Suns fan who didn't even see Nikola Jokic come up and try to grab the ball,
Nope.
the ball went flying in the air, went back like 4 rows. And the fan kind of looked at Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic kind of gave him a shove, shoved him down on his seat. Just so happened that Suns fan is new Suns owner Matt Ishbia. So my question for you, Matthew, is after that fray, Nikola Jokic got an unsportsmanlike technical foul. The Suns hit a free throw after that. In all of his time as the Phoenix Suns owner, did Robert Sarver ever get the Suns actually a point?
Has any owner ever actually done that? He's given us KD
And
he's given us
a playoff
point.
game.
A big point tonight, dude. We would have only won by 4. They might have been fouling even later in the game if it wasn't for Ishbia and that great flop. A little bit of a flop, but the seat is there. So I know the back of his leg probably hit. Yeah, but the back of his leg, he's right next to the seat. So he probably hit his like, oh, he's a little bit older. He's like, oh, I better
He's
rest
a
my
former
tushy.
basketball player.
Yeah, but dude, who shoves a fan though? I first thing I thought of was Russell Westbrook when he gets mad at any fan for touching him and they get thrown out. Anybody that gives him the middle finger, they get thrown out. Yes. How does Jokic not get thrown out of this game? I'm just saying he elbowed a fan for no reason.
Yes.
It was no reason. And Ishbia didn't see him coming. He didn't know what's going on. All of a sudden, this big 7-foot guy is just like right there grabbing the ball. Like, what's he supposed to do?
I'm telling you, if this was any other player than Nikola Jokic on the Denver Nuggets, he would have been gone.
Yes.
Had it been Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, DeAndre Jordan, you bet your ass he would have been gone. But because it's Nikola Jokic, because it's the 2-time MVP, there are certain things that he's allowed to get away with. And I'll start this podcast by giving kudos to Nikola Jokic tonight. 53 points. 53.
Jeez.
20 of 30 from the field. 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. He had 11 assists, 4 rebounds. He did have 6 turnovers, 1 late in the game. That was pretty big for the Suns because when you know that there's going to be a jump ball and it's Deandre Ayton wins those jump balls. He changed something about middle of last year, and he's been winning those jump balls. But Nikola Jokic in 39 minutes put up 53 points. He did everything he could to carry this team. But that being said, part of Jokic's game is because of his reputation, because of him being a 2-time MVP, he gets away with things. And that's just the way it goes in basketball. Before that play even happened, Nikola Jokic in the first quarter had 2 fouls. He checked out of the game, as he kind of normally does around the 2-minute mark. And when he came back, he knew that the officials were not going to call him for a 3rd foul. He came in instantly, fouled DeAndre Ayton, and it wasn't called. The next play he could have been called for an offensive foul the way he backed down DeAndre Ayton. They called the foul on DA. That's the Joker effect. That's the 2-time MVP effect. One, he flails and he hobbles and he bobbles and he kind of looks drunk out there, somebody noted in the chat. Kind of looks like me after chugging with the fellas a little bit, but he gets away with a lot of things. They allowed him to get away with a forearm shiver. He forearm shivers everyone, by the way. Every time he drives to the basket, he leads with the forearm. They never call it, ever. Watch it, ever. It's like watching playoff P, push-off P, Paul George. Always just like Heisman trophying into the lane.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing to Matt Ishbia. And so I'll ask you this. As you watch that, what did you see from the Joker tonight? And do you think there'll be any repercussions for the actions he took against a fan who just happens to be the owner? The fact that he's the owner doesn't matter. If that's any other fan, you can't do that. You just can't do that, man.
No, you can't, because that's like Malice in the Palace. Like, you just can't start anything like that because then everyone comes in. I'm surprised. I mean, there was one guy that came in and hit. He didn't hit him. He just kind of pushed him away. He got kicked out.
Well, they said he relocated them.
Yeah, that was insane. I don't know why that guy did, but the walking chicken nugget is always an issue. I think whenever he's actually going into the paint, man, like, it's something hard to watch. It's like, oh, this is nasty. I know he's going to get a good shot off because he can get over anybody, but the only part is like, is he going to get the call? Is he not going to get the call? Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. It's never consistent with this guy. And, you just have to deal with it the way it is right now with Jokic and how he's just dominating. He's hitting basically everything. He was 2 for 3 from 3 in the third, and then Ayton started getting more on him, which was good. Good defense by Ayton. But then also it's like you can see the rest of the Nuggets players tonight. They were just kind of watching him and like, all right, come on, get a good shot. Like they're relying on him so much. So going into the series, you realize like a lot of people were talking about the Suns and not have the actual guys that back up Booker and KD. Now, when I'm watching this game tonight, even kind of last night, it just seems like Jamal Murray can be the guy, but at certain times I don't trust him. I'm like, yes, let him shoot the ball for sure. But they just have nobody really to back up Jokic. MPJ, everybody subreddit wants him gone. They want him traded. There's just no one to help him right now, man. It's Jokic or nothing. Murray, maybe. If he can step in a couple threes and hit some big shots contested, good. But it's just all on Jokic right now, man. It looks scary for the Nuggets because tonight they fought hard. They came back, but it's only because of Jokic, man. That guy's his own planet. You can't stop him no matter what you do. He's, Jokic or Doncic, we used to say, was a planet, right?
Yes.
Jokic is just, you can't do anything with that guy right now.
Yeah, the difference between Jokic and Doncic is Doncic will take a handful of just shit shots throughout the game, and you can rely on those shit shots. It's the same thing that we saw with Russell Westbrook in the first round. You can count on him to make some shitty shots. Now, the efficiency in which Jokic operated tonight, again, 20 of 30, 66% from the field, 53-piece. But that's kind of the strategy, right? I mean, I'm sure you've seen it in the subreddits as you've been hanging out in Denver, a mile high with everybody else.
Just got
and
back.
One of the things that a lot of the fans of the Nuggets know is, hey, listen, stop Booker, let Booker cook, let KD cook. Everyone else will just sit and watch, and that's a good defensive strategy to beat the Suns. It's the same strategy for the Phoenix Suns against Denver. Hey, let Jokic be the guy who's scoring all the points. Because if he is, he's not necessarily allowing his teammates to get engaged. And granted, again, as I mentioned before, he did have 11 assists in this game. He had 30, 17, and 17 in game 3. In this one, he had 53, 11, and 4. The key there is due to the ability and the gas that it takes in the tank to get that 53 points. It does take out his effectiveness on the boards. He's starting his possessions out of the three-point line and working down instead of working out of the block a lot. And getting those putbacks that are killers, the volleyball putbacks that Nikola Jokic possesses. So the Suns, once again, rely on one-on-one defense against Jokic in this game. We've seen it the entire series. What did they say in game 3? You wouldn't know because you were at the game, but I believe they said on the broadcast that in the first couple games, he only was doubled like 3 times. Like they are not shooting doubles at Nikola Jokic. We're starting to see a few of them on Jamal Murray, but the Suns believe that the best way to stop Jokic is to let him score, but not let those other guys get in rhythm. Not let Bruce Brown get in rhythm. Not let Jalen not Jalen Green. What's his name? Jeff Green. Old man Jeff Green. Not let him get in rhythm. Not let Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. get in rhythm from beyond the arc. I mean, Porter took the shots. He took 9 of them, but a lot of them were contested. A lot of them weren't those wide open 3-point corner shots that he's used to getting when the gravity of Jokic pulls in a double team. The Suns are playing them straight up, and for the last 2 games, it's worked in the Suns' favor.
Yeah, and I noticed too, like it's just like the defense too, rotating is really good now from the Suns, but also it's like they're not chasing guys as much where these guys are getting hot, like you said, and they kind of, they're helping Jokic out by hitting the big shots like they did in the first game. It seems like a different game now where it just seems like it's Jokic versus all. It's Jokic versus KD and Devin Booker. And I feel like it's more of that than ever. I always thought it was like that going into the series for sure, but you always just feel like, well, who's going to help them out? But I'm like, who cares? It's the best players on the court. I think the way Jokic is playing is unstoppable for sure, but it's nothing that can win you a series, because when I look at Jamal Murray, who 28 points, 13 for 25, which is, it's good. 7 assists. That's what you want from a point guard. That's pretty good, but you just need the other guy like Suns have in KD and Book.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have it in this kind of matchup. I just think that's the way it is. And when you're in the playoffs, forget the regular season, how well that team meshed. When it comes down to hitting just big shots and who you can rely on, you have to have the 2 guys on one team, and the Suns have them right now. And It's not like they blew them out, and they're not going to, because this team for sure is just not gelling the way they should be. But right now, I think it's 16 games that they played all together with KD.
Yep.
But so far, you can see little bit here and there to where they're kind of gelling better. There's a few throwaway passes from KD here or there. But other than that, like, this team is all squared away on defense. Offense are on the offensive end. On the defensive end, it's hard because you're playing against a guy like Jokic in the playoffs who has to prove something. You cannot stop that. But right now they're doing a good job at, lowering that confidence that the Nuggets other players did have going into the series, where those guys look like the Suns at the previous 2 games, where they're just kind of lost out there, like they don't believe in themselves. That's the way the Nuggets players look like right now.
Bingo. And shout out to Blaze Megatron, one of our elite jamsters. Again, if you want to be an elite jamster on YouTube, simply click the join button below. He states, make Jokic score, not play make. Name a better playmaker than Jokic. Now name a better scoring center than Jokic. Make him score. And that's the key. And to your point, when the rest of the team is standing around and they're not engaged and they're not finding that rhythm, there's an opportunity there. Now, all this is being stated. The Suns almost lost this one.
Yeah.
They only won by 5, but they won. And that's what's important. That's what's important. A 53-piece, a career high by 10 points for Nikola Jokic, and we gave them the L. That's what's important. And there's a lot of different contributing factors that led to a Suns victory. Let's see. Where should I start?
Oh, yeah! Shabba-labba ding-dong!
Sneaky.
Sneaky, 6 of 9 from the field for Landry Shamet in this game in 30 minutes played. He was 5 of 8 from beyond the arc, 19 total points. He had 0 assists. He had 0 rebounds. He had 0 steals. He had 0 blocks, but he had 19 points, 5 of 8, as I mentioned, from beyond the arc. And of those 19 points, 14 came in the 4th quarter, Matthew. What'd you see from Landry Shamet tonight?
Oh, boy. I wrote down Devin Booker, those fuck you threes, man. Even double team a fuck you 3 from Book to end the 3rd. But Shamet, when Book was out, was huge. 9 points. He had the 3 for 4 from 3 in the 4th, which, I was actually, the first 3, like, yes, it went in. Second 3, I was like, all right, keep shooting it. Looks good. Body language looks good. He looks confident in himself, but all game long, his defense, the look on his face, there's like slow motion, like replays of him playing defense on Murray, and he would give up a shot because Murray is that good. But you just see his face like, yeah, like he just did these weird things like, dude, I'm possessed today. That's how he looked out there.
It looked like he ate some crow before the game.
Yeah, he's like, oh, my stomach,
That's called food poisoning, Matthew.
Yeah, that's what that was. It was just food poisoning, but it led to a lot of threes from him. But you know what? Even like the one where he made one, he missed the next one. The third one though, I'm like, shoot it from KD. KD trusted him, pass it over. I'm like, shoot it. I trust him in that moment. And Jamsters, you could say, well, Matthew, you never believed him at all. Telling you guys, if you watch him just the way he was playing tonight, and even if he didn't make his threes, it looked different. It was a different kind of Shamet out there, like it was in Ayton. They had this confidence in themselves, where they believe in themselves more than right now than what the Nuggets look like from the bench. So that is very important for Shamet. I've never really seen him play this confident. If he didn't make his threes, of course, like, fuck, damn, why is he shooting that much? But it started with the first one. And then the third one, I was still confident. I'm like, shoot that shit. And then the one in the corner, I'm like, dude, leaving him wide open too. They kept leaving him open because they don't think he has the confidence, but he shut everybody up tonight. So congratulations to Shamet. I'm very happy you came through because you won us the game tonight for sure.
Hell yes. 14 in that 4th quarter for Landry Shamet. He went 4 of 6 from the field. All of those were from beyond the arc. And I'm right there with you. I've been doubting Shamet. No one's been more critical of Landry Shamet than I have been. I mean, I'm writing articles on Bright Side of the Sun saying Shamet ain't it. And I mean, I've been beating that drum now for multiple games throughout this playoffs because he's lacked confidence. He hasn't given us anything that is positive on the court. And because of that, I feel like there's been other opportunity for other players to come in and step up. Tonight, the guy who stepped up was Landry Shamet. And it wasn't just on the offensive end, it was on the defensive end. His motor was high, like you mentioned. He looked mad on defense. He looked pissed off on defense. He was making Jamal Murray work for everything. Now, again, Murray ended this game with a total of 28 points on 13 of 25 shooting. He played 42 minutes. Landry Shamet was out there for 30. Landry Shamet, in the fourth quarter, Matthew, don't know if you knew this, but he ended up playing all 12 minutes. He did not come out of the game in the fourth because of the defense that he was providing on Jamal Murray. He was pestering him. It reminded me a lot of what the New Orleans Pelicans did to Chris Paul last year, because he was picking him up three-quarter court all the time. He was meeting him at the time stripe. He was just putting pressure on him. He was bodying him up, and he was trying to wear him out. If you're going to have Nikola Jokic go crazy, you got to try to neutralize the other his Robin. And that's what, like last year, Chris Paul was the Robin. Devin Booker was Batman. Chris Paul was the Robin. And that's what it is with this team. Nikola Jokic is Batman. Jamal Murray's Robin. So what do? You wear out Robin. And Landry Shamet, he's the guy who gets he kind of looks like the Riddler, right? He's got that kind of like sneaky.
Yeah. Hey,
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
that should be a Valentine's card. Hey, you look like the Riddler.
Yeah.
Why don't you tickle my nibbler?
I don't know if that's a riddle, but he was out there trying to neutralize Robin, and he did a good job of it. He took Murray, who in the first half was hitting some very difficult shots. Now he was hitting them, but he was hitting some very difficult shots. Now, granted, he was 6 of 15 in that first half. Landry Shamet played 10 minutes in that first half. In the second half, Monty he's like, you know what, Landry, you're playing 20 minutes out there. We're going to have you pretty much match Jamal Murray, because Jamal Murray played 21 minutes in the second half. Now, granted, he went 7 of 10 from the field. That's where he did the majority of his scoring. But his engagement on the defensive end led to some offense. Now, obviously, how did it lead to offense? Well, we've been saying this since Kevin Durant joined this basketball team. The gravity that Kevin Durant brings, along with Devin Booker, you're going to have wide open shooters. Josh Okogie, we learned early on that Josh Okogie, going all the way back to that Bucks game, where Josh Okogie went, 0 of 8 from beyond the arc coming out of the corner three. We knew it wasn't going to be Josh Okogie. We talked about TJ Warren. We talked about Terrence Ross. Due to the Chris Paul injury, Landry Shamet's going to get some minutes. Held before the Chris Paul injury, Landry Shamet was getting minutes. But he's the guy who's going to be wide open in the corner because of the gravity of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And we saw that tonight. And the key for Landry Shamet is he is a much, much better on the catch and shoot than coming off of screens and shooting. He's not Reggie Miller, okay? He's PJ Tucker. He can just fire away in the corner, and that he did tonight. And that's what was a key to victory for the Phoenix Suns tonight.
Yeah, it's about stepping up into the shot. That's it. If he fades away, it's bad. And he used to do that too, like just on the roll, like, the catch and shoot, but he would like roll around a screen and still fade to the right, fade to the left.
Yes.
Which is like things
Never
he should
square.
not do. He should never be that guy. He should look even at TJ Ross. Like, I always do that. TJ Ross. It's so easy to say that. Terrence Ross.
We need
just
Terrence
like that.
needs to change his first name to TJ.
And I think the announcers say it too. I swear, I keep even at the game, they're like TJ Ross. They did not say Terrence. I think they said TJ Ross. Just combine those.
Come on,
two,
Vince
man.
Marotta, you're better.
Have the
than
same
that.
jersey out there, same number too. Make it even more confusing.
Yeah, just completely throw off everybody in the stands. I mean, Vince Marotta's already being thrown off. Shout out to some of the Jamsters. Parker Hines and Elite Jamster gave us $1.99 in the super chat. We appreciate you supporting the podcast. He says the Landry Shamet game. Are you calling it that? Yes, 100%. He had 19 points.
Hell yeah, dude.
19 points coming off the bench. Absolutely paramount. He alone outscored the bench of the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets bench had 11 points in this game. The 19 points by Landry Shamet, you had 8 from Ross, you had 8 from Landell, and you had 5 from Warren. 8, 19, 16, 35. Was that 40 points? 40 to 11? Is that what it ended up being? Math. Yeah, there you go. Suns Fever 83, $2 in the super chat. Thanks for supporting the pod. 40 points from the bench. Well done. That's exactly what we needed. You're at home. It's got to happen. It has to happen. You need to have your bench step up the way that they did. And I absolutely love that we can sit here and we can talk about a great Shamet game. You have to realize that, Jamsters, when we sit here and we analyze and sometimes criticize aspects of this team and of this roster, it's not out of spite or malice. It's out of frustration because they're not performing to the level in which we want and what we expect and what we need. And that's what we got from Shamet is what we needed in this game. I can't wait to write a piece for Brightside talking about Landry Shamet and how
Yeah.
Long
Dude,
Dong Shamet. I don't know. I can't come up
you
with
got
a
to do
good
something.
one.
But yeah, and even in my notes too, before his little stretch of threes, I put full court defense. Great. Just not playing
Yes.
insecure, blocking out the noise. That's how he looked. And I'll share my screen, but I don't want you to see my notes and copy my notes. But that's what I put before. It's not like if he misses his shots, yeah, it's bad, but he wouldn't take that many threes if he wasn't on fire. But just the way he was out there, it looks different. It's a guy that's confident in himself, like I said before. And that's what we need to do, man. It's a relationship, both ends. We got to give that energy. And now he's giving that energy.
And we hope it can carry into Game 5. Obviously, bench players on the road have much more of a challenge. Again, we saw that from Denver tonight. Kind of saw that from their whole team, lethargic, and they still scored 120 feet of 24 points. But in other news,
Big Dick Booker.
Devin Booker's absolutely insane. He's insane. He's an elite shot maker. In the last 2 games, he has now gone, let's do some quick math on the fly here. He's gone 34 of 43. 34 of 43. Does that sound right? Yeah, he was 20 of 25 in the last game. He was 14 of 18 in this game. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. 36 points, 12 assists for Devin Booker. He dropped his average from 36.9 to 36.8 in this game, Matthew. I'm disappointed. Come on, Booker. I think you'd be better. What are we witnessing, dude? I didn't get it. I don't know. You were at the game, obviously. You went to Game 3, which must have been an amazing experience.
Yeah,
which I want to hear a little
shout out
bit
to
about.
Drew. Thank you very much for the tickets. It was awesome. Took some halftime shots because he works there. So very nice, very fun.
Drew, the man, dude. But you got to feel what it was like there. And then you see this, like you weren't here, you weren't present on the podcast for my Booker-gasm. So now it's your chance to have a Booker-gasm all over the Jamsters.
Dude, well, I mean, I had the halftime little thing. We have the Spotify little talk.
It's on Twitter.
Twitter
Spaces.
Twitter Spaces. There you go. Yeah, I knew there was like an S in there.
You didn't even know anyone's listening. You're just like, you thought I was
I'm just talking. I'm on the show. Yeah.
I thought it was a phone call. What the fuck?
I'm like, oh, John's calling me. Hold on. Dude. Halftime, he had 11 attempts. I was like, I want 30. He only had 18, but it seemed like he took 30. This guy right now, he's playing like MJ. The first thing I thought about, because I was actually listening to the pod, John. I don't know where he went. Probably take a shit. The first thing I thought about before I listened, I had you guys on when I was driving home. But the first thing I thought about at the game, and I've thought about this before, was just Michael Jordan. I mean, obviously, I wasn't young enough to really relive that.
You were young enough.
But no, but not that time. I didn't know what I was doing, dude. I was playing with my pencils, looking at pencil porn, whatever. Someone said
making out with pencils.
Yeah, I was making out with pencils at the time, my own size. Don't worry. And you know, I was thinking MJ right away, and I think like everything he's been doing is ridiculous. The fuck you threes is a big thing, right? That was the next step he had to take. He hit a couple of them in the third, and then he hit the one to end the third double teamed.
Yes,
like he was like, I don't care. And, you know, I love KD, but I want Booker to take every shot. Just like Jokic. I want them to go back and forth. And, KD stepped up big tonight, and he was that guy. But the way I am as a Suns fan, and this is nothing bad against KD, I just want Booker to handle that ball all the time. Why else would he give up a shot? I know double teams come, but find a way to give him the shot. But the double teams didn't even matter tonight, man. He was just going off. It's his will, his fight to get to the next round. He doesn't care who's on this team or how bad they've been in the past, how the injuries came and now Chris Paul's gone. He doesn't care. He wants to beat Jokic. He knows Jokic is probably the MVP. I think they were talking about at the TNT halftime how he should have been MVP over Embiid, which is probably a thing. But Booker's like, what about me? Why am I never in the conversation? Why not? This guy is just fucking insane, and he can't be stopped. He's a guy offensively, and they talked about subreddit. He doesn't play defense. Bullshit. He doesn't play defense. He boxes out. He makes sure that, you know what, if the Nuggets are going to miss a shot, we're going to get the opportunity to get the ball back and limit the second chance points. That's what he does. His head's always in the game. You can't say he doesn't play defense at all because he does it on both sides of the court, and his energy's gone. He comes out for 2 minutes in the fourth, 2 or 3 minutes. Yep. He's pissed. He's like standing up the whole time, basically like, wait, why am I have 4 fouls? I'll be fine. I can deal with this 4 fouls with 8 minutes left in the game or 10 minutes. I'll be fine. But just, you can't take him out of the game. You can't pass the ball up. He's brilliant, dude, as I spit all over the place.
Brilliant. great way to describe him, because that's what he's been this entire playoff run. As you mentioned in that third quarter, time's running down. He's dribbling. He goes to his left. The double team comes. He looks up at the cylinder and he simply says, "It doesn't matter." And he fucking strokes the three. Massive, massive moment right there for Devin Booker again. And what we're seeing consistently through this playoffs is, yeah, he's not mentioned as the MVP. He didn't play enough games this year. Flat out. Just, due to sheer lack of availability mid-season. But he's been the MVP in this playoffs, and there's no one who's going to debate that. There's
he's the
no
best player right now. There is. Jokic maybe. But
Jokic after tonight threw up a great game. He did. But if you look at the entirety of this playoffs and what Devin Booker has meant to this playoffs and this postseason, you'd think that 2 years ago was his coming out party when he went to the finals. And last year he had, as we've mentioned before, some really good games against the Pelicans before he pulled his hamstring. But what he's doing this postseason on this stage with so many eyes upon him and just consistently doing it. That's the key. Is in his first run in 2021 2021, it was amazing, but he had some duds in there. And last year, obviously, he got injured. This year, it's just consistent. I mean, 36, right on the nose, like it's nothing. Efficient as fuck. That's the other key. Unbelievable efficiency. So again, I said on the last podcast, and I'll continue to say it during this playoff run, enjoy this, Suns fans. This is fucking amazing. Growing up watching Michael Jordan, this is what it was like. He was a walking bucket. He'd hit shots in unbelievable ways and all three levels, and the consistency and the degree of difficulty. What he's doing, appreciate it, because this isn't normal. Look at Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's a damn good basketball player. I enjoy watching Jamal Murray play. Okay? I think that he's somebody who is just a hell of a player. He doesn't have a punchable face. Somebody hit me up on Twitter and they're like, "Hey, you see in your top 5 punchable faces?" I'm like, "No, not even close. Never wanted to punch Jamal Murray in the face." Dylan Brooks,
after that dick pic, we're good. Like he's not punchable. He's cool. He's been through a lot.
He has been through a lot, that's for sure. But I respect him. But again, you see some of his inefficiencies at time. And from Booker, it's less and less. And they're talking about a little bit on the broadcast how we haven't really seen that efficient KD game. And that's what Kevin Durant, that's been his calling card throughout his entire career, is his efficiency and what he can do. And go figure, tonight, we got that from one Kevin Durant.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Shout out real quick to equipment manager, Fallen Founder, who's watching along live in our Elite Jamsters. We were wondering if he was Coach Fallen Founder a couple pods ago, and he's letting us know that he's the equipment manager. He's kind of like Nate in Ted
Taking
Lasso.
a step down, spending more time with the family. Yep.
Well, exactly.
Understood.
It's easier to go on dates when you're not the actual coach. So shout out to you. But
Kevin
Durant in this game, 44 minutes played, 11 of 19 from the field, 36 points for him as well. Whereas Devin Booker had 12 assists. You had Kevin Durant had the 11 rebounds, also had 6 assists, a couple steals, a block, did have the 5 turnovers. That was one thing we noted on the last podcast. He did an amazing job taking care of the ball in game 3 with 0 turnovers, had the 5 in this one. But when you combine Devin Booker and you combine Kevin Durant in this game, they end up going 25 of 37. 25 of 37. And I'm sure you'll reference it in the Subreddit stakeout as Denver fans have just they got to be losing their minds at the efficiency in which both of these guys are scoring.
Yeah, they are. Great people out there. Shout out Denver fans. They love the pod. They, subscribe to us, which is awesome. But yeah, they get sick of it, but they're more sick of the rest in the commentary. I don't know why. But dude, I think it was in the third, man. Booker, it was in the third. I think it was when it started really to click for this team. You saw parts of it in the first half, but with Kevin Durant, but it just seemed like there were times where he would just, the turnovers 5, Book at 5. But you don't notice that really as much. With KD, it just stuck out more because it's like, what the fuck was that pass? It looked like Cameron Payne passes. He had a lot of those in the first half, some in the second half, but more in the first half. The third quarter looked really good. Him and Booker were 9 of 10. The whole team was 14 of 18 in the third quarter. And then you go head to head. It's insane, dude. So that's why it's like every 10 goes to them, double. But then those 5 extra shots the other guys made, they came up big in the third. The Nuggets were 12 of 23. in that third. And then Jokic was 6 of 10, Murray combined with Jokic 9 of 15. So it's like, they both had the 9 shots, but you just see how efficient Booker and KD are together. KD, the only thing is just those passes he has, but I just think it's just him knowing the system more and knowing where guys are rotating and where to be, because those passes are pretty weak and they're not as hard. Like, he throws it so soft sometimes where I'm just like, wait, does he expect someone to come up to him or something? Because the guy's across the court and he just throws it so short, it gets picked off.
Yeah.
And he gets kind of down on himself. I'm like, this is a lot of Cameron Payne I'm seeing in this guy. He needs to stop that. Just fucking stop sitting there like, God damn it. When someone makes a shot, tough shot and one, fuck shit, that's fine, I guess. Maybe that's KD's game. But for me, that's not Book style. That's not this Suns team style. You got to knock that off, dude. Just brush it off and continue to play hard, because those turnovers will completely diminish in the next few games, because he's getting close, man. His efficiency is rising.
Oh, yeah.
The last few games at the game, it was tough to watch because every time the balls were released off his hand, it didn't look like it was going to go in. First half of this game, they were just like clanking in and out. It was terrible to watch. But then at the end of the second quarter, where he hit that to go into halftime, he hit the nothing but net from Booker, just chucking it down the court.
That was the end of the first quarter.
Was it the end of the first quarter?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of was like something where it's like, ooh, I haven't seen a shot like that going for KD yet as a Sun. And it kind of led to a little bit better shots for him going into the next half. But KD right now is close. I think he's really close. He's there. It's just those passes. That's it. I'm not saying it's just him. It's just him and the team all around just kind of gelling together. But you can see it coming, man. It's going to be big next game, I think.
Kevin Durant in the last 2 games is averaging 37.5 points, and we think he's close. Isn't that funny?
But he knows he is too, because of his body language. He knows he's fucking up sometimes. I'm just saying it's still there a little bit. So it's fine. It's fine. It's only been 16 games.
Exactly. And what we saw from him in the past 2 games, and you saw it again tonight, and I think it's the cerebralness that a veteran like Kevin Durant brings to the team, is he's like, I'm just going to attack. I know that the lateral quickness of Aaron Gordon and any defender really on Denver isn't what it was in the Clippers series. When you're playing against the Clippers and Russell Westbrook and everybody else who was guarding him was getting underneath him to start a possession, and he could not even create any space, he didn't have the ability to move and get to his spots, whereas against the Denver Nuggets, he does. And Aaron Gordon, he attacked right off the bat, got a couple fouls on him early, which, again, you take Nikola Jokic and you put him on an island and force him to be the scorer by taking away the shooters around him. You get foul trouble on some of those other shooters, and that's going to disrupt rhythm. And meanwhile, Kevin Durant found that rhythm. He found it, and he's found it over the last couple games. He was 11 of 12 from the free throw line in the last game. He was 12 of 13 from the free throw line in this one. And that's the adjustment that he and Monty Williams has made over the last 2 games. It's like, listen, these guys have to take a step back because they lack the lateral quickness. So, and then he can blow by him and get to his spots. And if he doesn't get to his spots, he can get to the foul line. I think that's unbelievably valuable for this team. I think that quarter 1 buzzer beater, my wife was watching on the couch and she goes,
my sister.
Yeah, that's correct. My wife is your sister. We are brothers-in-law, in-laws. We are John and Matthew. Jan.
I just have to say it after every
J-A-M.
time I say that.
But she goes, that was outstanding when he hit the buzzer beater. I go, yes, it was outstanding.
She's been reading a lot. That's a big word.
she's out back right now. She's out back right now reading a book with the dogs, a cat on the leash, and our big turtle Franklin tortoise.
What a life he got over there, man! Bunch of big animals. Love it.
Just animals. It's a farm.
Big
it's a farm.
fat animals.
Big old farm here. With this game, Kevin Durant moves past Jerry West for 8th all time in playoff field goals made list. So he's got that going for him, which is nice as well. But I like what I'm seeing from KD, and you're right. He's understanding the cohesiveness that he's growing with this team. You see more and more every game. Mm-hmm. And even when he started off shooting bad in game 3, he found that way to ultimately right the ship. And the ship is about to make dock, if you will.
We're getting there. I thought this was it. I was comparing it, Thanksgiving Day, you have like your little snacks and stuff, little chips, 7-layer dip and stuff. It's really good stuff, right? We're seeing really good stuff. Yeah, I'm
like
comparing
Super Bowl.
This whole build-up. No,
who has 7-layer dip on Thanksgiving?
Oh, my family. So you got the clam dip, you have the crackers, you have the 7-layer dip. You're like snooping around, you're like picking at stuff, right, for Thanksgiving. it's not the meal yet, right? You're not there yet filling up 2 plates with gravy.
So
We're still
appetizers.
snacking, right? We're still snacking. We'll get those games. I just believe we're not out of the series. We're going to win the series, like I said, but we're going to get those games where it's like, oh, I'm full of it. Like, we're going to be full of it pretty soon, I feel like.
Tell you who wasn't full of it was Deandre Ayton in this one. Nice segue there. 27 minutes played, only 3 of 6 from the field, only had 8 points, only had 8 rebounds. 4 of them came on the offensive end. 3 of them came on the first play of the game. Had a couple blocks, had a steal. But what we saw from Deandre Ayton, again, you can't always look at the box score with him.
No.
And we saw much more engagement from DA in this game. We saw much more hustle. We saw Booker actively looking for him. We saw him playing with what I would define as force. Hell, he even got a technical from the bench. Sarah Tran. So we like Ayton again.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, we like when he plays well, and we don't like when he doesn't play well. It's this amazing concept that we have, and I like what I saw from him. Now, again, there was an adjustment by Monty. You look at that second half, and Deandre Ayton only played 12 minutes in it. He was only 1 of 1 from the field. Okay. It was primarily Jock Landell in that second half. There's a DA game coming. There's an offensive DA game coming. But right now, what they're doing is they're just saying, hey, we're going to throw him out there. We're going to have him isolate on Nikola Jokic and hold his own there, and then just try to go grab some rebounds. And tonight, he finally, on the defensive switches on the backside, he finally looked like he knew what the fuck was going on. I said it on our Twitter space at halftime. It looked like he watched a lot of film. He took it seriously and understood what his assignment was on the backside, because that's where he's been getting burned. He's been getting burned on backside rotations when there's a high screen and it comes around to him. You know, they're not using Jokic and Murray in that high screen. They'll run MPJ or Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray on that high screen. And as it comes around, he would just he'd be off in the Bahamas. He wasn't in this game. He was out there and he was engaged, and I appreciate it. Now, granted, do I want more from him offensively? Yes, I always will. But that time will come. And if we can advance to the Western Conference Finals, that's when that time will come. In this series, it's simply about beating the shit out of Jokic as much as you can, letting him score 53 points on you and Jock Landell, and not letting anybody else get involved in the game.
Yeah, dude. Jorbo says it. I still miss 2021.
We all do.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we don't have a point guard right now either, so we're not going to get a whole lot of Ayton just scoring a lot off a pick and roll, which he never really did before. But there's not really a well-run offense right now to give him the ball, I feel like. And defensively, I feel like we kind of. Oh, sorry. Let me click out of that. My bad. Go ahead and
I'm
click.
trying to change the comment.
Sorry, Jorbo. Your comment came back once again. I'm not going to read it again. But Ayton, the only things I like. So if we lose this game, we lose this game. It's never on Ayton for this type of game because of his effort. Him getting on the ball to grab that ball towards the end of the game where they called a timeout, but they didn't get a timeout, which, of course, every other team that does this does that to us, they get the timeout. But we don't get the timeout, which makes no sense. But doing that, getting back MPJ with a stupid-ass 3, and Ayton just runs by. I don't know if he touched it or not, but he runs by and gets his hands up. That's huge. The guy in Ayton, he's athletic. He's fast. He's quick for his size. And he used it tonight. He used it on any play possible. And his minutes are limited now. And it's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. He's our number 1 pick. But I kind of like it now because it's like, well, he won't be tired. Those minutes are just used at a high rate now where he's going to get a lot more efficiency from the field. I feel like and can outplay players in certain situations defensively. He was that tonight. I think when he came back in for Jock, and he gave up a few plays defensively, it's like, oh, shit, like we need the physical play from Jock down there. But on the other end, he got the N1. He finished against Jamal Murray tonight, got the N1. He was doing things that he wasn't doing the last few games. He played huge tonight. And I don't even care what his box score says, man. He played huge, and the fans in the arena, you can hear it. They knew it. That one dunk, you can hear it from them. They'll respond. And like Shamet, we just need that energy back from you, man. Like, we just need that. I mean, it's nothing on you personally at all. It's just, we can tell when you're not dominating out there at all. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes sense. It makes sense for us to be a little frustrated. It's okay. But he was a man tonight, man. You know, he could have pouted like he did last game a little bit, been mad, put his head down, but he was a man tonight. He came out and played his minutes hard. I loved his game tonight.
Yeah, and you're right. The loudest moments in that stadium are when Deandre Ayton dunks the fucking ball. Because when he
Yes.
does, again, he does it with authority, and he did that in the middle of the second. And again, Devin Booker was actively looking for him. He's the little brother on the team, good, bad, or indifferent. When you have Devin Booker, who's a straight killer, when you have Kevin Durant and Chris Paul, who are the OGs of this league, Deandre Ayton will always be the little brother, and he acts like the little brother sometimes. And today he came out there and he said, "Okay, listen, I'll do what you guys say. I'll take your advice. I'll listen to your feedback, and I'll act in a positive manner based on your feedback." And the energy was there right from the tip, and everybody saw it. And you knew that it was the perfect first possession of the game for Phoenix, because that's exactly what they need. Because there's mumblings and rumblings around DeAndre Ayton. Some people are saying, "Yeah, start Jock." Like, no, we don't need to go into this.
No, don't do that.
Thing. Like, you
Just
don't
split their minutes.
Yeah, you split the minutes and you use them effectively, and you keep fresh legs out there at all times against Nikola Jokic. That's what you do, and that's what Monty has done. And again, knowing that he goes out there and gets 3 offensive rebounds in the first possession, which leads to a Devin Booker jumper, that just got the crowd right back behind him. And that was part of the piece that I wrote for Brightside yesterday, was literally just saying, like, listen, whatever's going to happen and whatever conversations we want to have about DeAndre Ayton, save him for the postseason. And same for these podcasts, because this is where we can be real, because good, bad, or indifferent, he ain't listening to this shit. But if you're there, if you're in the stadium, and I said it on the last pod, cheer him on, get behind him, let him feel the energy. Whether you feel he's earned it or not, he needs it. He's one of those guys. He's not Devin Booker. He's not Kevin Durant. He needs to feel it. And based off his effort right off the bat, he felt it the rest of the game, and he was positive. Hell, he got a Devin Booker style technical foul from the bench, and I wasn't even mad at it. That means he was engaged. That means he was yelling and screaming. Now, if we had lost by 1 point, I would have been pretty fucking pissed.
Jesus, this is a nice limo.
Yes, it is. Now suck my
Jock Landell. Landell in this game, again, another solid performance from him. 21 total minutes played. He was 4 of 6 from the field, had 5 boards, an assist, a steal, had 8 total points. I'm liking what I see from Jock. Again, 2 consecutive games where he's active on both ends of the floor. He's not somebody who you're running any sets or play for, but as I stated on the last pod, I'll continue to say he's our fuck shit up guy right now. You need a fuck shit up guy. The challenge that the Nuggets had in this game and in the 2 games that they played in Phoenix, they lacked a fuck shit up guy. Their fuck shit up guy, quote unquote, in the first 2 games was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and he fucked shit up by hitting dagger 3-pointers. He hasn't done that in Phoenix. Jock Landell has, and that's what I like. Now, suck my jock.
Yeah, and I wasn't here last pod. I did pop on for a little bit bald-headed, and I was like, Jock Landell, come on, guys. All you Jamsters, John, all you guys told me, no Jock, no more Jock. I love me some Jock, dude. I love him, and I didn't think he would play this way, obviously. Obviously, he's not that great of a player, right? I mean, he's good right now. But the way he's been playing is insane. You never thought he would get to this level, but he has nothing to lose. It's basically like, I love the way that him and Ayton kind of play, where they have fouls, and now when Ayton has fouls, you're not worried about it because you have Jock. Even Biz, if Biz were to come in, I would be fine with that. But Jock, the way he's playing physically against Jokic, he's allowed to play that way. I feel like with him, he makes it a little difficult on him. He's going to give up shots. Obviously, the guy had 53 points tonight, but I love how he can split minutes with DA, dude. I think that's huge. I think if we do end up winning the series, he's a big reason why. Obviously, his play at the center position won us games. Last game, kudos to Monty. I didn't say anything, but just staying with Jock the whole game, just staying with him in that fourth quarter, because he knew that presence of just physicality, like when he came out in the fourth tonight, where Ayton just gave up a few easy layups, it was like, shit, are we going to lose this game now? Because now Monty's trusting Ayton defensively, and he believes in him like a Shamet thing. We almost did kind of get towards that way, I feel like, because of the physicality, but this guy's not a starter, but as long as he's getting the minutes he's getting, it's going to be huge for this team in the long run for sure.
Well, you need that. Everybody needs that. Every team needs that. The challenge that the Nuggets have is they don't have a backup 5. And that's what, in these past 2 games, the Suns have been winning the minutes in which the Joker has been on the bench. They didn't win those minutes in games 1 and 2, and they lost the game. You have to win those minutes. Historically, what Jokic did this season, his plus minus while on the court versus what he was off the court was historic. Like the team, there's never been that much of a disparity between one player. That's why when you hear some people, bang the drum, if you will, for him being the MVP. That's why, because he's truly that valuable to the team. Because their backup 5 is DeAndre Jordan, and you're not playing him in this series.
You can't.
You can't. And the fact that you have a backup 5 who can give you these kind of minutes and that much energy and that much value, and it's paramount to the success of the team overall. Because again, DeAndre Ayton can get in foul trouble. He can take some risks. He can try to play a little bit more physical because you can go with Jock behind him. And if Jock gets in trouble, you got Busy behind him, who is a 0 on offense, but is still a damn solid defender.
Yeah.
Want to give a quick shout out to Adam Silverman in the chat, the super chat, $49.99. Again, thank you for supporting the podcast.
Wow.
Says longtime listener, thanks for the solid content. KD and Book have earned calls in this league, but Joker gets away with so much more. I can't agree more than that. Also love CP3, but think the faster pace is in our advantage versus Denver. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Adam. We truly appreciate it. Matthew's blowing kisses. Black Sunday also gives us $5 in the super chat, and he says, just me, or does our offense look as a whole look way better without CP3? We play faster, and KD isn't being the guy that stands in the corner. Tell me about that, Matthew. What are your thoughts on that? Because
It's
now
tough.
the Suns,
Yeah.
without Chris Paul, they're 2-0 in these playoffs. Now, granted, both were at home, but
Yeah. But then game 2, too, I don't know. Game 2 was such a weird game where both teams could not make shit. So that game could have been just a blowout win for the Nuggets. Chris Paul was a little lucky in that game where he had the opportunity to play that defensive game and then get up 8 points, but then he got hurt. He went out and it swung so drastically the other way. So I'm just like, did we lose that game because Chris Paul came out? I don't know.
Like, that one
but I
felt
love
like
the pace. They're bringing the ball up. They have 4 seconds to the backcourt and they're up. They got 20 seconds on the shot clock, 19 seconds to get into any kind of offense they want. Usually it's ISO, but it gives these guys some time to figure things out. I love it. I do love it. I do miss Chris Paul. I don't know if we win the series with him or without him. Who knows? All I know is it sounds
We'll never know.
baby.
We'll never know.
Excited about that.
Elite Jamster has donated $5.13. A random number. I absolutely love
birthday.
it. Says, what do we do? Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. You were born on the 13th of May. Yeah, that's wrong. But what do we do with Paul if when he returns, the faster pace seems to be helping? You know, that's a conversation for when we think he'll be back. I don't think he's going to be back in the playoffs, period.
I don't think he won't be back this series.
That's 100% sure. There's no way he's coming back this series. And, you know, to Black Sunday's comment, with Chris Paul out, you're seeing more of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant being the primary ball handler, and they're working all their actions off of that. With Chris Paul, obviously, Kevin Durant ends up being almost like Mikal Bridges in the old offensive sets. So I like what we're seeing right now, but I would rather have Chris Paul than not have him. Cameron Payne, as well as he, 25 minutes, 2 of 8 from the field, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 points. Cameron Payne is essentially like a backup quarterback who you're running the ball and hoping you play good defense with. Like, just don't put the ball in his hands too much and he won't turn it over and kill you, because that's what he can do at times. He hit a couple threes or just 1 3. 1 3 tonight, and it was a nice one. I would like to see more of him hitting those threes, but I also don't want to see him shoot us out of the game, which Cameron Payne can definitely do. So when Chris Paul has the ability to come back, I think you get strategic. I think you maybe have him come off the bench for a bit. I think you start with this pace against this team. If he comes back in the series, which again, I think is a very, very big what if. A groin pull, if we recall, kept Devin Booker out for 21 games during the regular season, and he has a healthy groin. Chris Paul has a almost 38-year-old groin.
Baby.
In fact, his birthday's coming up, isn't it?
Whose?
Chris Paul. Is it coming up, or did he just have it?
I think it just passed. Wasn't it like 2 days ago?
Turned
38.
Yep, yesterday.
Yeah.
So
yesterday.
he's now 38 and 1 day old. So again, that's just one of those things where it's you have to be careful how you navigate that. You have to take your time with that. And so if he does have the ability to come back, whether it is in the series or if the Suns can advance to the Western Conference Finals, I think that you have him come off the bench. You have Cameron Payne set the team, utilize the rhythm that they currently are utilizing, and he comes in and he dictates the offense with those backups and sets the gus.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of trust Monty now to make that adjustment. I think he's adjusted to what the Suns fans want. Like, it's just weird how the Suns fans have really controlled this series. Who they want, they get. And I think now it's like the adjustments that even Chris Paul has to make on the fly if he comes back, where he's just kind of in the corner again. And that's fine. I think they make the right decision. It's not based on like, we got to get Chris Paul out there and we're going to lose the series with him or without him. We're going to win it without him. You know what I mean? Or with or without him. It's not a thing anymore. I think Monty's going to make the adjustments. He knows the guys he has now on the floor and off the bench where he can make the adjustments to win these games. And I trust him again. I really do, to make the right call.
Well, we'll see once we hit game 5 how he adjusts, because when you're on the road and you have a lot of the animosity coming out and the emotion of the other team, that's when you really find out who you are. Before we get to the subreddit stakeout, I do want to give a shout out to one of our elite jamsters, Thomas Dennett, $5 in the super chat. Again, thank you for supporting the pod. Says, love CP3, but his time might be winding down. And I think we can all agree to that. Yeah, and Common 522, $20 in the super chat says, love you guys. Thanks for being the best post-game podcast around. We have a series, boys.
Come here.
That we do. Matthew's dishing out kisses. And it's a reminder to everybody, if you get a chance, give us a thumbs up. It helps with the metrics. Lets everyone else know we're the best post-game podcast on Planet Orange is. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just hit 5 stars and write a little review. Say, Matthew, stop blowing me kisses. It's awkward. And we'll go ahead and we'll read it.
Everyone wants a kiss.
Right here on the pod.
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
All right, Matthew was hanging out in Denver. He was looking like Elvis Presley. So,
that's my favorite character.
No,
it was chilly. It was chilly in Denver. Oh, I can't do accents at all.
That was something.
My dirty little glasses over here. I can barely actually see out of these things, man.
Wash your glasses.
Should we get to the Ishbia stuff right away?
Yes.
Bro, what the fuck was that last 10 minutes of my life? I just saw someone in the stands interfere with the game and get their team 1 point for it. Yes, that's Ishbia, man. That's what billions of dollars gets you. 1 point in the NBA if you don't even play in the NBA. And Ishbia, I don't know if he did, someone lip read this, but they said in quotation marks, not going to throw me out of my building, laugh out loud. So I don't know if he said that to somebody because people kept coming over the whole time. So, and Jokic is a legend. Elbowed the Suns owner. You think Jokic knew who he was? I don't think he did.
No.
There's no way.
Jokic, if you were to ask Jokic, he probably doesn't even know who like Ish Smith is on his team.
Oh,
let alone Matt Ishbia.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. All right. So once again, we should cream this team. They're not even a team.
Gross.
It's two. Yeah, I don't know. What they're into. It's 2 stars with a bunch of throwaway players. All of our role players besides MPJ look stressed out and out of sync. Yep, we talked about that. But then MPJ, people wanted him traded. Trade MPJ, bum ass doing nothing. There it is. Bunch of that.
Dang. So the Denver fans are eating alive MPJ.
Yeah, they hate him, and I would too. I mean, he does nothing. When I was at the game, all he was doing was shooting threes. I don't really know the box score, what you guys talked about with him, but he was just shooting threes.
He had 11 points. He had 10 rebounds in this game, 4 assists, a steal, a block. He was 2 of 9 from beyond the arc and 4 of 13. So he was scoring and grabbing rebounds, but he does get, I mean, you do forget that he's out there for quite some time.
I think it's one-dimensional, but... So I feel like we're in deep shit this series. That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I wish the Pinster brothers were here to talk about that. Remember them?
Oh, you know what? I think I blocked one of them. I forget what he said something maybe. I don't know if I was just the corn kicked in or something, but I blocked them. So maybe they're not allowed back in. I don't know. Sorry, that's my bad. They weren't even that bad.
No, it was fun, but they haven't showed up since.
No, they haven't. All right, so someone actually said Booker so master class with his feet, travel violation. So they're saying that he was traveling a lot. Didn't notice that with him. KD traveled a little bit, but I didn't notice Book traveling. We literally let Booker...
Did they watch Joker?
Yeah, it's like everyone travels in the NBA now anyways. Yeah. We literally just let Booker rest on defense. We don't attack him. We don't run him off screens. We don't do anything. No wonder he's not tired. That guy does not get tired. He does not get tired. He's not going to be tired in this playoffs.
Nope.
And Phoenix got the refs and commentary on their side. Good God, this is terrible. What?
Oh,
I'm sick of hearing that stuff. That's about it.
Cool. Thank you,
Yeah.
Wesley David, for $4.99 super sticker. We
Thank you.
appreciate that.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Pedro Gonzalez wonders, why did they demote Fallen Founder to equipment manager?
So we can date.
So he can date again, and he demoted his damn self. Damn it. That's all I got to say.
Why did they?
That's all I got. Yeah, I didn't do anything. It's his own name. He did it to himself. I thought I had a trivia time for you. I'm trying to remember. What did...
Oh, I love trivia time. Can
Oh,
I tell you
what-
one funny thing? Is I was listening to Bill Simmons and they were talking about LeBron James and his free throw attempts.
Mhm.
And they were like, I think he asked Kevin O'Connor, he's like, how many free throw attempts do you think he's attempted so far? I'm like 5. He's all 5.2. I'm like, damn it.
You're getting good. All right.
I'm
Well,
good. All right.
Let's hit you with some trivia time.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
Phoenix Suns in this postseason, have now played a total of 35 quarters. Matthew, how many times have they given up 30 or more points?
Oh, 12.
That is incorrect, my friend.
Damn it.
They've given up 30 or more points in 18 of the 35 total quarters that they've played. And what we're going to do real quick is we're going to do Jam Star, and then we're going to talk about that because we have to talk about adjustments for game number 5.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Matthew, we got a lot to choose from in this one. Who are you designating as your official Game 4 Jam Star of the game?
Throw it the S. Is it backwards? There you go. Shamet.
Oh, I was like,
You're like, who's named S on the team?
oh yeah, Landry Shamet.
Yeah. That dude. Yep.
I think I'm going to give it 2 and 2. I mean, it's funny to do it when you have two guys who score 36 points apiece, who combined for 72 points, but Landry Shamet was the absolute X factor in this game. No other Sun, outside of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, or Landry Shamet, scored over 10 points. It's an issue. It's going to be an issue moving forward, which we're going to talk about here momentarily. But the fact that Landry Shamet came out, scored 14 points in the fourth quarter was absolutely paramount to the success of this team and their win. The fourth quarter scoring, 9 points for Kevin Durant, 2 for DeAndre Ayton, 0 for Devin Booker, 2 for Terrence Ross, 2 for TJ Warren, 2 for Jock Landell, 14 for Landry Shamet. So I'm just not going to give it to Landry. I'm going to give it to the whole goddamn bench. We needed it. We needed a bench game. We finally got a bench game. So now we turn our eyes to game 5 coming up. What is that? Tuesday we
night.
play again.
Yep. 7:00.
Yep. So I mentioned it before. Adjustments, challenges that the Suns have. 1, they're top heavy. 2, we give up fucking points. Now, granted, when you take a look at the Denver Nuggets, you know that this is a solid team. This is a team that has continuity. It's a team that knows how to score. And it's a team that, as the number 1 overall seed in the Western Conference, was 5th overall in the entire league in offensive rating. So they're going to score points. We have to have the ability to get stops. On the road, we have to have the ability to do it. That's why game 2 sucks. Because we did. We held them to 97 points, man. We caught them off guard. And had we won that game, we'd be up 3-1 right now. But you know what? You can't play the what-if game. So what are you looking for in game 5 as the Phoenix Suns travel to Denver to try to take a vital 3-2 lead in the series?
I'm looking for that other guy again. I think Shamet did a really hell of a job tonight. Jam started the game, but Ross was close to being that guy. I feel like I trust Ross a lot more in that situation where they kind of be the other Walmart version of Booker. You know what I mean? Where he can come out, get to his spot, and I trust him to get those shots off and they can go in. He is definitely that guy. I look for him to get the 20-point game next time, and then Warren kind of just the 15-point game. I think those guys, now that they got minutes in the last 2 games, they're warmed up. I think they're ready to come out and hit some big shots in this next game. And also just KD, just those passes. I know it's a 5 turnovers and Booker had 5 too, but KD's were just, they kind of killed us on our little runs we would go on. Kind of buzz killers a little bit. Those are his turnovers. So he needs to just settle down on those. If he can just settle down, get him more in sync with this offense next game, you can kind of see how these leads can turn to 10, 15, or 20. You know what I mean? Just if he can kind of just slow down a little bit and be more of himself, not throwing the ball away, then we can kind of take over. Because I think the whole Jokic game was amazing. And like you said, he looks exhausted. So let's see. Going back to Denver, if he can be the guy that he was tonight, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but that's a lot. And I just think that the Suns have the upper hand right now and the confidence. And you just didn't see that really in the series yet. But tonight, you can just tell that they kind of overtook them in that area of the game for sure.
Shout out to Joel Ramirez, $5 in the super chat.
All this money.
Landry, Big D, Shamet. We really appreciate you guys supporting the pod. It really means a lot. We put on a lot of time and effort and have a good time doing it. And we love hanging out with the Jamsters.
Yeah.
There's going to be adjustments coming from Mike Malone. There's no doubt about that. He watched his 2-time MVP go out tonight and carry his team 53 points, and they lost. So there's going to be some adjustments. There's going to be more of, hey, listen, Jokic, we got to get the ball in your hands a little bit more. We got to get other guys engaged. Their bench guys versus our bench guys is going to be huge. And Landry Shamet, TJ Warren, Terrence Ross, these guys, Jock Landell, Torrey Craig's 7 seconds, whatever. They're going to have to play big in this game. They're going to have to play big. Because if you want to go on the road and win a game, you need your bench to show up. Period, exclamation point. We need it. We have to go in there with that mindset. Devin Booker's going to do Devin Booker things. Kevin Durant's going to do Kevin Durant things. Maybe we can get a big Ayton game or something offensively. I don't know. But if we want to beat this team in their house, a team that's pretty good at home, the number one seed, again, overall in the Western Conference, we're going to need to have those bench guys once again provide valuable minutes. I love the rotations right now from Monty.
Me too.
That we criticized for the first 2 games. It made no sense. With Landry Shamet playing the way that he did tonight, that cauterized the way that bench is playing because the other guys are serviceable. This isn't a great defensive team, the Denver Nuggets. We know that. Torrey Craig, 7 seconds or less. That's what he played. But this isn't a great defensive team in the Denver Nuggets. So you have to continue attack at all times. You have to win those Jokic minutes, and that, again, is going to be the key. Win those Jokic minutes and prevent the rest of their players from going off and having a good time.
Okay, KD 450, and shout out to Sean Zellman. Great win. It definitely was. KD gets 50. Next game.
Oh, man, wouldn't that be nice? Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, man?
How
was the game? How was the game on game?
It was
3?
great, good energy. But like I said, you can just feel how the Suns fans are running this team. They just are. Just in the arena, we're fed up with shit, and Monty adjusts to it. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the energy was high, man. Booker just makes you feel weird when you're there. It's a good weird. Definitely a good tingle. So it was a lot of fun. Again, thanks to Drew for taking me. I had a great time. And the seats were in the front row, so it wasn't too far into on the second deck. I don't like heights, but it was like right there. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like front row, like courtside. Like, damn, son.
No. Just like front row, like you're going to fall off the edge if you get a little too drunk. So, but it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Halftime, baby. Well, again, thank you to Drew. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in and enjoyed this podcast, enjoyed this Suns win, and enjoyed this journey with us. Again, we'll be coming to you live after Game 5 on Tuesday right here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. If you're watching, hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're on DraftKings and you're a new user, use promo code SunsJam, $150 in bonus bets right there. Too easy for you. Again, make sure you follow us at SunsJam on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow me at Darth Void and read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. You can follow Matthew. And it'll be interesting to hear the repercussions tomorrow and what Bill Simmons has to say about his good buddy Matt Ishbia getting pushed by Nikola Jokic. I can't wait to hear the Bill Simmons podcast tomorrow morning. So that's all I got. We'll see you guys come Tuesday night.
Go home and love family.